Hello and welcome to the Luxury Lounge. That's right, every Thursday we head in the lounge, we shut the door, and we air our grievances with the world. And there's no grievance that's too big or too small or too frivolous. It is your problem, and it shall be heard. Now, you're listening right now. Welcome to the show. If you're watching, we're on YouTube. You see that we are on Zoom. We're doing the great internet provides. And I want you to go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Send in your complaints to JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Title it Luxury Lounge. Let us know what you're complaining about. Shelby, he's our producer to the stars. He goes through every email and he sits up at night and we love a specific complaint. The more specific, the better. Specificity. Specificity. You know what it means to me. I need to complain with you, and we will be a couple of Jews. Okay, so listen. So I want you guys, keep sending them in, jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. And, share this podcast. Thank you. I always start with a thank you because if you're listening, that's very cool. There's a lot of podcasts out there. So thank you. Thank you for being involved with the show. And, keep telling a friend, this is mental health. Honestly, yeah, I love the internet because you can just make things sound more important than they actually are. This is therapy. We come here, we let you just bleed out these complaints, and by the end it's like a massage. You're like, wow, oh my god, I feel so loose, I feel so good. So share, give your friend the mental health therapy they need, not actually therapy, but disclaimer. A version. Disclaimer. And share the Luxury Lounge. I'm very excited about today's guest, an OKP to the show, to the JTrain universe. First time in the lounge, hilarious comic, Emma Willmann. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Jared. I appreciate it. Now, what does your hat say?
I got a new hat.
Nice.
So I like this hat, but it's actually kind of, I have to be careful with this hat, okay?
It's a great color. It's a luxurious color, absolutely.
I love this maroon. And font,
I love the maroon. And you kept the white of it clean, which makes it even more like luxury.
It's brand new, so I have to kind of watch out for it. Here's the thing. It's called, and this is Plug City. We'll go to Plug City for a second. Okay. Let's take a walk through the streets of Plug City.
Plug City.
It's St. Jardine, and it's a bar that's a coffee shop bar hybrid that's in the West Village, and I have frequented this bar for first dates. I think it's a great first date spot because sometimes there's spots open at the bar. You can get a reservation if you need one. It's busy. It's got life. It's in the great section of the West Village. It's like right a catty corner to Wilfie and Nell. So if the date is hot, you go over to Wilfie and Nell. You can grab a cocktail there. There's options. So This is a plug to St. Jardine. But then I went yesterday. I was at the Comedy Cellar. I did the brunch, and Emma works the Comedy Cellar as well. Everyone needs to follow Emma. It's just so spectacular and funny. At Emma Willmann. Go, go, go.
Thank you.
So I walk back, and I'm like, I got nothing. I got this dead time. And I was like, I want to
the brunch shows at like 1. You're all amped up. You've had a bunch of coffee at the table, and then...
Right, you're on one, and you haven't...
You're on one.
So I was like, I can sit here and have a coffee, because coffee bar hybrid, there's a spot open at the bar. And then I'm going to sit on my phone and go, bullshit, let my brain melt. And
favorite thing to do.
The best. So I'm sitting at the bar, and then I get a coffee. Then I'm like, I'll have a glass of wine. They got good orange wine, natural wine. So then I get a glass, and then I'm a second glass. And then I see the hat. I see the guy wearing it. He's got tattoos. He's cool. So now, but I have to be careful. Give me a hat. Throw it in. I go, how much is the hat? They go, $18. I go, come on, I got money. I'm drunk, So I end up buying this hat. But the problem is I've taken women on first dates here. So it just looks like I'm like some sort of mascot for this first date. I don't know.
No one will know. No one will know. Do you have the same waiter sometimes on your dates?
I recognize the people there, but not enough. It's actually a good spot we're in. Like, I recognize the people there. I'm not sure if they recognize me, but like,
okay, good.
We have a good thing where they don't know me too. It's not like, hey, Jared, Norm, come on in.
Right.
No, I don't want that at a first date spot.
Right. Oh, you got a new friend with you, and you're like, shut the fuck up. Who's this lady this time? Oh, a blonde. You're like,
well, don't you think that's got to be part of like the restaurant training? Like, if you see someone that does a lot of first dates here, like, act like you don't know them.
100%. My dad. I remember, so my dad, he's been married a couple times, and apparently he would take the women to the same ring shop in Nova Scotia. And when he went with my stepmom, she was ripshit because the ring guy brought up that he had been in there 3 years prior. And so she was upset. And I was like, I see why she's upset. But I was like, Dad, weren't you upset? And he was like, well, I shouldn't have done it. And I was like, no, that guy, it's a ring shop. If you work at a ring shop, someone's spending a lot of money, and you should be so lucky to have someone with a high turnover rate. Like you want that's your dream customer, someone who's coming in every couple of years. Like, kiss this guy in the lips.
Right. I totally agree. And also, there's not 12 ring shops. Like at a bar, it makes a little more sense because there's like options. Or like, why would you keep coming back here? The ring shop, like he has to act like, especially like, yeah, you're going to relate to the last marriage that didn't work out. Yeah, if I was your dad, I would be bullshit. It's going to be, everyone is new to me unless my customer's like, hey, remember me? You have to literally say, remember me? No, I don't remember anything.
You remember me? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know my own name. I don't know who you are. You're a virgin.
Right, I don't know what's, yeah, exactly. Is this the virginal ring?
Listen, we're already in the complaints. I'm so excited Emma's here. Listen, everyone go follow Emma at Emma Willmann because she has a move. You're in a movie.
I'm in a movie. I'm so excited. This is what happened. So, you do auditions a lot, whatever. And I had been doing auditions, and I had done this audition like a long time ago. I had done it in October 2 years ago. And then I got the part. It felt like 9-10 months later because I was like, what is this? I didn't remember the audition. Right. And then I remembered it pretty clearly, actually, because when I did it, the way the script was written, it was implied it was for someone who was a person of color. Because I remember kind of being like, ooh, I don't know, this phrasing feels a little unnatural. Like I had to say, like homeboy. Not that means a person, but there was something else in it. There's a couple things. Yeah. Homeboy, jack your ass outside the club. A couple things. I think, no, in the description it said the person was a person of color, and I was like, oh, but I could audition. They go, oh, they changed that. They're opening it up, but the script
it's also like so hack of them. They're like, it's a person of color. Then they do this like garbage dialogue, homeboy. You're like, come on,
totally
right.
So it was to be one of the scenes was to be a comedian, and they say homeboy on stage. So I was at a comedy club. I was at the DC Comedy Loft, and I was like, I'm going to record the audition from the stage after the shows to like stand out a little bit more.
Right.
So it's like 1 a.m. and I had my girlfriend was with me. And so we set up the camera, the shows are done, the, staff's like cleaning up, and I go on stage and I recorded a couple ways, like in my own words. And then I record it as is in the script, but I wasn't really thinking. So I'm on stage, the staff doesn't know what I'm doing. So all of a sudden I'm like, let's give it up for that, my homeboy. And then you heard someone from the office go, what the fuck? And then I was like, oh, no, I'm doing audition. I'm not having like some breakdown out here where I'm saying like, I've not gone rogue where I'm on stage just going nuts. So I was like, oh, that's the one that I ended up getting. So I got it. And then we filmed it like, I guess it was like a year after the audition, but it's fun. It's with the Bobby Cannavale, who's in The Watcher, and Robert De Niro, but I didn't get to meet him.
I mean, these are big time actors. These are big
time actors.
Right.
Big time actors.
What's it like? So here's the thing. People, listen, the listeners, we're not a Hollywood type. I'm not a Hollywood type.
I'm not a Hollywood type. I wasn't that familiar with him. Robert De Niro, yeah, but not Bobby Cannavale.
Right.
Thank God.
Bobby Cannavale, like, I know who he is, but like if you're listening and you don't, you'll see him and go, oh my God, that's a big time actor. Yeah. You're that guy. But the thing is, and I've been on sets-ish sometimes, it is glamorous to be on a set. Did you have the moment where you're like, they're treating you better than you thought you should ever be treated? Like, the craft services. They give you the trailer. Because we wouldn't expect those things, and then you get there and there's like all of a sudden you have an assistant. Like you realize how actors become right. You do realize the minute you get on a set how actors become delusional.
I can totally see how they become delusional too, because like you get in, you check in, hair and makeup, then you do get your own. So with the trailer in this one, it was like you're in it, and then they've got food and all the stuff for you. So it does. I was sick. I don't know what. So I was trying to be like, what? I had like a stomach thing. So when I was in my trailer, I was like laying on the floor, like doing like Lamar. Like,
oh, really?
So that was the only reason it didn't seem glamorous. I had some type of stomach bug, but I can completely see how you get a little wonky in the brain, because there's no in that like ecosystem, you're the star of the situation, and people are really catering to you. Right.
And it's really their job. They're not doing things special, but it does feel special because you don't have it every day. I just remember they'd be doing your makeup and they'd be like, do you want a drink or anything? And I'd be like, what do you got? And they're like, I go, Diet Coke. And they're like, no problem. Then they bring the Diet Coke and it has a straw in it to make sure you don't mess up your makeup. And you're like, right. And you're sipping from the Diet Coke that has a napkin around it, and you're sipping from the straw, and you're going, oh, everyone here is out of their minds. But you're like, there is a reason for everything. Like, you did want a soda. Their job is to go get people sodas.
Right.
You can't mess up the makeup, so you have to be a little bit precious. It's just a little weird. You're right.
It's a little weird.
Ecosystem is the right word.
And they give you at the time when it's time to eat, I got some type of thing that like went over, like a giant bib to go over me so I wouldn't mess up the wardrobe. And they had me like change, which I should have those things all the time. I was like, it's awesome. And there's a lot of sitting around, which I love. I like to sit around.
It's hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait. I felt grateful that I wasn't familiar with Bobby Cannavale as I was after the first couple of days of taping, because I think it helped me be comfortable around him. Because the first day, I Google fucking everything. I mean, I've run out of stuff to Google. Like I've Googled what happened to Lil Bow Wow 972 times. Like I Google everything. And I hadn't looked him up for some reason. So the first day I was really like, just very, very, very comfortable around him. Then after a couple of days, I was like, this guy is really good. And then I felt a little starstruck. By the end, I was kind of looking at him different. Like I felt weird.
Well, it's got to be good to be you're playing a stand-up comedian. That's why you're auditioning in the club. Yes. So you're actually more comfortable than maybe he is, because you're like, I am the role, He asked
a couple of times, he was asking, because he plays a comic in it too. And he asked a couple times things about comedy. And he was like, what do you guys do in this situation? And he was very, very curious about getting it. Right. That's
actually fun. But it's called Inappropriate Behavior. It's coming out. We don't know the date yet, so we want everyone to go directly to Emma Willmann's Instagram, TikTok. Emma's fantastic. You're going to love Emma if you don't already. At Emma Willmann on all platforms. Let's get to our complaints. Are you ready?
Let's do it. Absolutely.
Okay. I'll do mine first.
Please.
Hit the music, Shelby. Jared, he has some problems. Jared, he's got some issues to do. Get off his chest right now. Jared has a lot of issues. Jared has a issue with a lot of things that we can discuss. Can you relate to the problem now? Okay. Here's my complaint.
Let's hear it.
I live in like a older building. My neighbors probably, they listen to Luxury Lounge without wanting to listen to Luxury Lounge. You can hear everything. I went today to the elevator. I'm on the 4th floor. 4th floor is that tweener floor. 3rd floor
exactly is.
Right. Like 3rd floor, I'd probably walk the stairs to I say that, but I'm probably being
2 floors you're definitely gonna walk. 2 floors
2 you're walking.
For sure a walk. 3 is like maybe, 4th is like it's a little bit of a thing.
3, I'd walk it enough where people go, Jared, are you doing a different workout? Like, you know, it would affect my life. If if I took the 4th floor stairs, if I was like, this is my new health routine, no more workouts, I'm just doing the stairs every time. I actually have thought about that. I think I would be a different person. Like, I really do.
It could be.
4th floor, but I take the elevator up and then I walk it down. That's my whole plan. Usually.
It's a compromise. Yes.
It's a compromise. Now, whenever I take out the garbage chute is next to the elevator. So I give myself another compromise. I throw away the garbage, I press the button, and then while I throw away the garbage, the elevator comes up. So I go to take out the garbage, press the button. Now the button has been wonky lately. Hasn't been really lighting up. But if you press it a couple times, you just see the elevator kind of like jut and it comes up. And it's an old building. So I press it
you don't take the garbage in the elevator?
No, I'm taking it into the chute. The chute is next to the elevator. So I go to the elevator. I hit the button a couple times. It doesn't light up, but I'm like, okay, this is kind of what I'm used to. I go to take the chute. The chute is a little small, so you have to really shove it in. So it takes a second. There. So this is all kind of, I've timed out everything perfectly. I get back to the elevator. It's not moving. Still on lobby. And I'm like, okay, do I sit here and play with this button, or do I give up on my compromise and hit the stairs? I hit the button two more times. Nothing's happening. I'm like, okay, I'll go downstairs. I go down the stairs, and it's a little, you twirl down the stairs. You're almost dizzy by the time you get to the lobby floor. I get to the elevator, sign on the elevator out of service. How are we putting that only on the lobby floor and not on every floor going up?
That's a great point.
Why aren't we getting our information? What's going on here? How, in what world, especially you wake up in the morning, you got a bunch of stuff in your hand, you're waiting there for 20 minutes, and then you get to the bottom floor to find out the information. There should be a sign on every floor, elevator out of service, and I want more information. I want so much information that this note on the elevator is actually like a news item that could go on like Apple News. Like I want this to be a story. Like I want to like elevator out of service and then like a 2-paragraph explanation of what's going on.
This is why it's out, what we're going to do.
What we've been doing. And I want it to be, and what we, even if the note said, we don't know what's going to happen here. I want to know that we don't know what's going on. Like, hey man, I had a tough week. Like this note could literally be like, elevators out of service. Hey man, I just called the guy. He hasn't picked up. We're trying. The minute he picks up, I'll replace the note. We'll start giving, like, I want like a dissertation. I drank this weekend. I'm still getting to this. I haven't woke up yet. I want to know everything about what's going on with this elevator. Don't you think?
I think totally. Well, because imagine you were like bringing your I always go to this default of what if I had kids? And but what if you had kids and you're going to school and your hands are full with their lunch and you're waiting for the elevator and now they're cranky and you're cranky and then you're lugging everything around like that then you're late for school. Like you miss the bus. Like there's so many, the ripple effect of it could be like a real, it's so easy to put, or they could send out an email.
Emma, you're a pro complainer. You know how I know this? Because that's what people do who like to complain. They put themselves in a world where they can get themselves even angrier.
Oh my God.
You don't even have a kid and you're going, what if I had a kid? And now you're living in a world where you do have a kid and you're going, I gotta feed kids. I'm a single parent. And I can't get down the elevator.
Yes. Drug addicted parent, but somehow my kids are in prep school, and when they're late, then that's like $800 a day, and we're kicked out of the school, and now we're all homeless. That's where it goes. Like, or what if you're in a wheelchair? Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, my God, now we're speaking for, the disabled Americans of this country. We have to speak up for these people. Yeah, and all it really did for me was make me wait 10 seconds to go get my coffee before taping with you. But in a world, this could be horrific. It could be
horrific.
Right. That's my complaint.
I always do that with complaining. I always amp it up to some scenario where there's some horrendous stakes. And that's how I justify the complaint. Even though any complaint too big or too small, it's still good to get out there. I don't think any complaints are too big or too small because you're processing it.
Totally agree. Let's go to your complaint.
This is my complaint.
Okay, hold on. Hit the music. It's the guest's turn to complain. They're ready to jump in. They've got lots of problems too. It ain't all about Jared. Let's hear their complaint of the day. Let's hear their complaint of the day. They're invited on the show to have some fun and complain with you. Let's hear that complaint. Okay, go ahead.
So this was like, I just didn't know what to do. I've been going to the same hairdresser for 3 years. They're absolutely fantastic. They do such a good job. But then the last time and it's the same, we go for 3 years. I go for 3 years. It takes the same amount of time. We kind of have a routine. So there was nothing different about this time.
Now, the hairdresser, how many times are you going in a year? You've been going for 3 years, and
I probably go every 6 weeks, so like a lot.
Okay, so you're going a lot, like
a lot.
Okay,
I go regularly, and I have someone that does the coloring, and then someone does the cut. They're in the same place, and they're both great. Like she's taking some time off because she's having a baby, and I was like, oh, what? Like, how much time off? Like, so I'm going to keep going. Absolutely,
right.
But this last time I went, and to be fair to her, I never say, oh, I want this, I want that. I always go, oh, kind of do the same thing that you did before. And that's been working. But this last time, it was honestly one of the worst haircuts of my life. It was so bad that I was seeing a trainer, like this great Italian guy, Greg. But he's the type of person who's like, oh, you look great. We always do that when we see each other. He saw me and he went, whoa. And I was like, I look fucked up, don't I? He goes, it's not your best. He said that. And I was like,
it's not your best from someone you have hired. Because you've hired him as a trainer.
Yes.
Is actually him saying, you look like fucking garbage. You're disgusting.
Right.
You should never leave the house. You troll.
Exactly.
That is
100%.
It's not your best is a softened version. This means it's bad.
Right. He goes,
this isn't a friend. Best. You have, right.
Right. It's not your best work. But I was like, I don't know what. So my complaint is almost more at myself was, I guess I did not know how to handle the situation and my girlfriend was like, you got to go in and say something. I go, I'm not saying something. There's no way I'm not saying something because I don't want it to be weird, but I don't know, whatever she did, it looked all like, it was like too short and choppy and it looked absolutely crazy. So I guess my complaint is, to make it like a specific complaint, my complaint is when someone switches something up on you when you've got a routine. I wonder if she didn't know though, but I mean, I look fucked up.
Listen, everyone has a bad day at work. We go on stage, we bomb, we do well. And, what's the etiquette with, in the world, if we were to take emotions out of this, the hairdresser that you go to frequently should be the person that you should be able to hash this out with, to go,
absolutely.
Hey, I'm not happy here. But it's actually the hardest person to talk to because you've never had an issue before.
She does such a good job. I was like, did I do this? This was, my other complaint was not knowing when to tip on vitamin drips, because when I went in to get a vitamin drip, then they said, do you want to give 20%? But a vitamin drip's like $300. So I said yes, but I didn't know.
What's a vitamin drip?
You go in and they give you a whole vitamin IV and it makes you feel really healthy. But the vitamin,
you are Hollywood now. This movie, one movie, and now you're getting vitamin drips.
I get them on Groupon, so this is maybe not the best place to do that. But then when you go to check out, it says, do you want to leave a tip? And I always say, 20%. But the 20% of a couple $100, like, that's a huge tip. And they just kind of put you in. So I didn't know that was a luxury. Well, I was like, are we supposed to be tipping or not?
Everyone has gotten, it's been memeified, but everyone is doing tip screens now. Everyone's just like, I'll take a shot. That's the problem, is everyone's like, yeah, let's see what happens. And I don't know how much this tip affects their life. Like, if you walk in, they go, hey, we feed our family based on tips. I need that sign up. I need you to take that chance that I might find out signs. You don't feed your family. Right. Because that's the risk they're taking. They're going, I'll flip it over. I'll make it awkward on them. But we need both skin in the awkward game. I need you to flip it over and lie to me. I need you to, at least if you lie to me and go, hey, we don't get paid here, we only get tips, and it's a lie, at least you have to feel as awkward as I do, because maybe you get caught in your lie. We're not both at an equal casino table, is the problem with the tip screen. to go
if
back.
If you ran for president on that platform with literally what you just said, I would vote for you for president. If you said we need equal skin in the game and the awkwardness here, like that would make me go, I'm voting for this man for president. Like that, I would be like, I just agree with that so 100% much. I go, that's what I want in a leader.
The tip screen is literally them volleying a tennis ball of awkwardness back to you, for you to try and hit back to them. Because if you go, if you had like balls, if you were ballsy, you go, hey, do you guys get paid on the service or the tip? How does the breakdown go for you? They would go, oh my God.
Oh, right.
Now I'm awkward because now I have to explain my pay structure. It's like, well, you've kind of offered me that ability because you've asked for a tip. I need to know how this breaks down. What percentage of my vitamin drip is going towards you versus the company? Can you give me a breakdown of materials? I had this issue. I had this happen in a cab once. I was in a cab. I don't know if I talked about it here, but I was so angry. I was in a cab. I never take cabs. We take Ubers. But when you take a cab in New York, you kind of feel good. You're like, this is how it should have been. Right? You want, because you have this interaction with a human. You're like, I'm doing the New York thing. So I get in the cab, and the guy looks at me, and I go, West 3rd and Bleecker, or West 3rd and McDougal to go to the cellar or whatever. And the guy goes, and I go, how? He goes, do you mind if I go this way? We're having that old school cab conversation. Right. And I go, and I go, no, take, this street and take that street. This is the way I want to go. No problem, man. No problem. We get to the place. I go to use my credit card, tap, credit card, and then it says on the screen, credit card machine not working.
Oh, this is happening before too. And
I
go,
buddy. Right, and I go, hey, man, can you redo the machine, the credit card? And he goes, credit card ain't working. And I'm like, dude.
So I needed this information before because it's like, I don't know, if you don't have cash in you and you go, also, I took a taxi because I'm in kind of a time crunch. I've had that happen before. And I'm like, hey, like I needed to know the machine wasn't working. Like, did you know it wasn't working? Did it just break? Or your machine's got to work. Otherwise, in a way, it should be a free taxi ride.
Well, that's the thing. I need an updated version of the old school thing. Like, taxi cab, I did it. I'm coming to you, man. I'm talking with you. I'm already out of Uberland. Like I'm happy to be here. And then you fuck me. You literally. And then so he goes, and I go, I said to you what you said. I go, I wish you would kind of inform me. And he goes, happens. Do you have 20? You got cash? And I take out my wallet and I give him a 20. And it's like, also we're working when we take a cab. Like that's a write-offable thing. Yeah. So I go, so he goes, them the brakes, kid. Like he's like, got me. You know what I did? He served me the awkward, and I was like, fuck this guy. I was so mad. I volleyed back the awkward. I go, gonna need a receipt.
Yeah.
And he goes, what? I already turned off the machine. He goes, I wish you would have told me before. And I go, oh,
ain't that a bitch? Yeah,
really?
Wouldn't that be nice?
I sat in that cab for 10 extra minutes while I waited for him to redo the machine to print out a receipt. I would have sat there for 2 years. No, just sat there staring at him. I'll take that receipt, buddy. Got to bring it. You want to go old school? I'll go old school. I got to bring that receipt to my accountant in his office with my big basket of receipts from the year.
We're scared he's still in that fucking taxi. They're just sitting out there. They're not going anywhere.
Let's get to the complaints.
It does give taxi drivers a bad day when they do that with the broken machine, though, because you're like, this is like a key part of your business operation here.
Right. Like you got to be, you're never going to be Uber, so get us at least, I know the deal I'm making, don't make me feel good about this. JTrain podcast.
You should have told him that at the end when you got out. You said, you're never going to be Uber, and then just slammed the door in his face.
Good money habits start with your very first paycheck. If you just scored your first job, you've got an opportunity to jumpstart a healthy financial journey. When you sign up for Chime and link a qualifying direct deposit, you get access to benefits like getting paid up to 2 days early and fee-free overdraft up to $200. With Chime, there are no monthly fees, no minimum balance, and no deposit required to become a member. People, great opportunity here just to even organize your financial life. A little bit of organization goes such a long way. Sign up for a Chime checking account today to link your paycheck. It only takes 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. Get started at chime.com/JTrain. That's chime.com/JTrain. Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank NA or Stride Bank NA members FDIC. Early access to direct deposit funds depends on payer, SpotMe eligibility requirements, and overdraft limits apply. See chime.com/SpotMe. JTrain podcast at gmail.com here with Emma Willmann at Emma Willmann. Go follow. You ready for some complaints?
Let's do it.
Luxury Lounge. Facebook Marketplace sponsored ads. Jared, Shelby, and guests, many feathers to your nuts. I love looking at Facebook Marketplace. I love browsing for old glassware, jewelry, furniture, creepy figurines, etc. The cool older things you wouldn't see in most stores today. I generally don't buy anything, but I just enjoy looking at people's old stuff while sipping my coffee. However, this ritual is often ruined by ads from places like Wayfair or other big stores. They make their products look like a regular item posting, so I think, oh wow, this item is really cool, and then realize it's from fucking Wayfair. I know that this is how all ads work, but this just feels worse for some reason. It's like IKEA having a stand at a flea market. I just want to look at people's weird stuff, not a brand new item from a big store. I used to buy a lot from Marketplace when I was younger with less money and can't afford new things. So I guess it just feels a little bit predatory knowing that a lot of people use Marketplace for this reason. Either way, I'm tired of half the page being sponsored ads and having to use my brain to parse out which is an ad and which is an actual posting. Thanks for giving a safe space to air these grievances. Sincerely, show me the tchotchkes. What do you think? I love the sign-up.
I love the word predatory in it. Because it does feel more predatory because it's sneakier, because they're really, the thing is with these targeted ads is they're just getting so good. Right. They're getting so, and that IKEA example is such a good example too, because it's like what you're there for, they're really infringing upon. And it does suck because it's just getting in the way of, it just feels sneakier because they're more easily able to integrate. Like I've noticed sometimes with the news, even on CNN, sometimes there'll be the sponsored posts, and usually I used to always be able to tell, but they're getting the sneakiness of the pop-up ads are just getting more so good that it gets harder to differentiate, and it throws you off, especially
the original of this was when you'd Google something, you'd be like, I want to go to Disney World, and instead, and then the first Google response would be the ad version of Disney World, right. And then you have to go down the screen to get to the regular website of Disney World. This has gotten even worse. If you Google a restaurant, you have to travel like 30 miles from the top of the screen to get to the actual website that you're looking for. Like, it's actually gotten insane. There are so many ad versions, and all the ad versions, it feels like you're swimming through seaweed. You're just like, get me out of this garbage versions of the websites that get me to the actual website I'm looking for. I totally agree. You're right about the IKEA the IKEA stand at the flea market is perfect, because you're like, right, get out of the way. I'm here for a very specific reason. Let us have our time. We know where to find you, IKEA. We know where to find you, Wayfair.
And it feels dirtier because they're directly going in and swooping from the people they're just trying to sell on Facebook Marketplace. So it's like you see directly what they're trying to take from too. Like you're trying to support like small business, and then you've got this one posing as a small business. It's like they're buying a house in the neighborhood and having a yard sale, but it's owned by IKEA.
Right. And they're actually looking at grandma who figured out, like, grandma figured out.
What if I was a grandma? Right.
What if I was a grandma and I figured out how to use the computer, and then my grandkid taught me how to put something on Facebook Marketplace, and I finally get there, and now I'm dealing with Wayfair being like, move it, Wrinkles. Right. I'm selling shit.
Yeah.
And they're
posing as a grandma. They're posing as another grandma, but it's a freaking robot.
Right. It's a robot in a wig and a shawl, and it looks like Rosie from the 100%. Jetsons.
Yes,
JTrain
trying to be your
podcast
friend.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Emma Willmann at Emma Willmann. She's going to be in a movie. I'm so happy for you. That's so
Thank
cool.
you so much.
Everyone go follow Emma at Emma Willmann on TikTok, on Instagram. Luxury Lounge. Farting in peace at work. Jared, I'll keep this short and sweet, or I guess stinky. Everyone in my office has an L-shaped desk, which affords us a lot of separate working space from our coworkers. I hate when I need to fart, do so silently, and then someone comes up to my desk to ask a question. My farts are almost always poorly timed, and I just want 5 minutes apiece to avoid someone experiencing the smell. Sincerely, do not disturb farter. Emma, what do you think?
This one's really personal to me because I have got gastrointestinal. I definitely have something wrong with me. Like,
yeah, I'm with you.
I gotta see it. I need to see a doctor. Something's not right, and I just haven't taken the time to figure it out. So I will say I think it is, no matter what, a little bold to be farting at your desk in an open space. If you could swing it, I would say try to go to the bathroom and just like sit there and do it there, or go for a walk out in the street. Because I would say you can't necessarily, as much as I wish you could, you can't necessarily expect unexpected. You can't expect uninterrupted fart time at an office. It's just not how it is, even though I wish it was.
Here's the thing.
Could be wrong.
I totally agree. And this is, you're bringing me to my point, because we normalized everything. Everything has been normalized. There's always a call to action to normalize, except for farting. No one's out here looking to normalize farting. And there's no one wants to speak up for the community. You know, you kind of ish with the because it's always funny. The thing is, farts are never taken seriously, I want to normalize. Farts are funny, and that's the problem. Is you can't have a serious conversation about farts.
But then
because
do you want everybody farting? Because when I think of the farting, I'm like, I would love to be able to fart, but then it's like, do I want? I mean, I can't see it fart as I say, not as I do, or whatever the saying would be. But it's like, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable going in knowing that it was totally socially acceptable for everybody to be farting. Right,
farts are kind of like children. I love my own, but I don't want to deal with yours. So
it's like a whole thing.
But here, the community that kind of does it is the what's the one, the people that shit a lot? What's the disease?
Oh, is it IBS? The one where you have to have the poop bag?
Crohn's and colitis.
The
Crohn's and colitis community kind of tries, but they always sidestep the idea of like, I have an issue shitting. Like no one. Right. So,
and they should get a free pass because they really can't help it.
Right.
Like there should be.
But even them, they never come out and they go Crohn's and colitis. They give it this different languaging. No one's like, I want to come. This is what if I ever hit it big, I'm going to take farts seriously. And I think every office, if it has a break room, on top of the break room, you can smoke cigarettes, you can fart. I want a sign. All farts welcome. All cigarette, like where you go, there's a break area. We did this for cigarettes. Hey, if you want to smoke a cigarette,
they do it for yoga in San Francisco. I've used that as the fart room, by the way. But it's you. I wouldn't.
That's a good fart room because yoga people are farting. Yeah, that's a good place to fart.
And it's usually empty. But you need an empty room.
Right, you need an empty room, but the office should have a, like they do for smokers, that one lined off area that's the smoking section. Let's change the name to all fumes. Fumes section. That's the fume section.
One guy always out there.
Right. One, you can do whatever you want. Whatever fumes you want to put out there, let it be tobacco, let it be farts, let it be anything you want. Vapes, this section. We need to open this up. It's the normalization. The community, the farting community never gets taken seriously. It's a mess.
Because I'll go, I have a problem. Because sometimes I'll be like, look, it doesn't smell right. Like I'll go, there's some type of issue here. I don't know what's going on. Because my girlfriend goes, why do you fart smell like this? I go, I don't know. Obviously, I got some type of problem. Right. But that would be a great bonding experience too. Because I love. You want to bond over things that aren't just cigarettes too. So
right.
You can go up there and be really comfortable with people just like farting around. I think that's a great way to do it too, because then it's not just fumes, makes it less comical than farts, and it's more serious. It's like we gotta get this out.
I gotta let these fumes out. Where you going? Get my fumes out.
women get really scared of farting too.
Right. Stomach issues. It's not safe. JTrainPodcast at gmail.com. JTrainPodcast at gmail.com.
I almost wonder if, and this would be a weird byproduct, but if sexual harassment would become almost obsolete if there was a fuming thing, because it makes people not see them as sexual, even though you should still see someone as a sexual object in the right context for farting. But if everyone knew everyone was going up, like someone at work hits on you, you go, excuse me, I got to go up to the fume section, then might maybe.
It humanizes everyone. Everyone farts. That's now it's not like, oh, I'm just taking a walk. It's like, oh, you want me to come with you and I'll get you coffee? It's like, get the fuck out of my face. I got to go to the fumes room.
Right, one of the fumes.
Luxury Lounge, YouTube TV sharing. Dear Jared, Feather. I'm one of the many people who have canceled their cable subscription and decided I would just use the streaming services instead to save money. My sister and I each have each other's logins for various streaming services we have so we can share. I have subscriptions to A, B, and C, and she has subscriptions to X, Y, Z. My complaint is that while I'm so thankful that my sister and her boyfriend gave me their login for YouTube TV, all of a sudden started kicking me off every time they log on. I'm not sure if they have given the login info to anyone else or if YouTube TV is just catching on to this, but it's so annoying. I only use YouTube TV 2 times a week to watch my Bravo shows. Yes, I have a Peacock subscription so I can just watch them the next day, but I have mentally prepared myself for a good night on the couch for a trash reality TV with a glass of wine after a long day. That's what I want to do. I also feel like I can't say anything to them because I'm so thankful that they let me have their login because it's so much expensive compared to the other platforms. They both work very good finance jobs, and I am sometimes starving, sometimes not, and I am sometimes a starving sometimes not starving full-time artist. So I can't be like, hey, you kicked me off, because I feel like I'm definitely getting the better deal. Thank you for the safe space to complain. Sincerely, I just need to watch Scandival in real time. What do you think, Emma Willmann?
I'm glad that they gave the context for, because I was going to say, you're giving them logins too, but I can see if your logins are less expensive, how you feel a little bit weird about it. I think it's YouTube. First of all, that you've carved out a good night of reality TV with wine. That's something that should never be interrupted. Because if you've planned, it's like going, I got this lunch, it's ready, and then you go into the refrigerator and someone ate something out of it.
It's the expectation. And also, when you get kicked off of it, I can understand that you're imagining them settling in for the same night that you are. So you're even more afraid to hey, I was set up on the couch, and then the response is going to go, well, we're sitting here with our charcuterie and our wine, and we're in our comfy cozies. Why can't we? And that it then becomes a couch off. You're trying to, so
whose subscription is it? Whose subscription is it really?
You don't want to rattle it,
right.
So I understand why they don't say anything at all, because it's like they must be doing what I'm doing. And it's horrible. This is frustrating.
I think you could say, hey, I don't know if YouTube changed their algorithm, but I keep getting logged out. You don't necessarily say the specific day of when you're getting logged out. I just noticed I'm getting logged out. Is there a setting that could get changed? Because I'm going to guess that that's what it is. Because they're not changing the password. So I think it's probably some type of, you're only allowed to be logged in from one device at a time. Right.
And so just when one comes in, they send the other out. It's like a one in, one out type of deal. And listen, if that's the deal, you do have to get on the same page with your sister. I think you're right, Emma. The way to go is hey, am I logging you out? You ask. You go into question mode. Am I logging you out when I sign into YouTube TV? And they go, oh my God. Because no one's saying anything to everyone, because they're doing what you're doing. They're going, oh, they probably prepared for a night of Scandival. We prepared. It's a little awkward. I have their Netflix, so I can't really say anything because these are the breaks of, the crime we're committing. So I do understand why no one says anything. You have to break the silence. You have to question mode. Am I signing you out? Hey, and then do this move. Let's test it. Say, hey, let's test it. You go on YouTube TV right now, and then let me sign in. Does it sign you out? And then if it does, you go, hey, okay, we might need to figure out a plan here for the future. You let me know if you're going to be watching YouTube TV, and I'll let you know. And now the expectation has been set. Now you've actually sussed it out, because now they'll come to you, hey, we're going to be watching Scandival tonight. And you go, oh my God, I was too. Good thing I know. Now I'll prepare differently.
Because anything to avoid you having to, you mentally preparing and getting that excitement going and sitting down with your wine, anything to avoid that. That's got to be like the big, you don't want to get your expectations crushed.
Absolutely. There's no perfect solution here because you are committing a crime. You have to remember that. Right. You are, you're Bonnie and Clyde. You're a small one, but listen, but you're not, there's no way, if you want to play, you got to pay in some way.
You're right. Because you can't call up YouTube and say, hey, I'm getting logged out when my sister logs in. Right. Then they would be like, well,
how about you pay the fuck up? Right. So JTrain Podcast. JTrain Podcast at gmail.com. JTrain Podcast at gmail.com. Here with Emma Willmann. At Emma Willmann. The movie's called Inappropriate Behavior. Keep an eye out. We don't know when it's coming out, but it's going to be coming. So cool. Luxury lounge, inaccurate restaurant wait time.
Ooh.
Jared, an esteemed guest. I'm writing in about a luxury complaint. When wait times at restaurants and bars are shorter than expected. My friends, it's a great complaint.
Interesting.
So yeah. They go, it'll be an hour, and then you go, and then it's a half hour, and you're mad because you're like,
you go, wait a minute.
I planned my day. Yeah,
right.
My friends and I went to an upscale cocktail bar that does not take reservations. When we arrived and checked in for a party of 4, they told us that the wait was going to be really long. I'm talking an hour and a half to 2 hours. My friends and I noticed a handful of open tables that could seat a party of 4, but the host assured us that there was a long list of parties that were in line and had to be seated first. The host offered to put our names on the list, and we'd receive a text when the table was ready. Given that we had over an hour to kill, we decided to check out a different bar nearby while we waited. We walked across the street to a different bar, sit down, and order some drinks, all within a 10-minute period. By the time our drinks were served to us, I received a text that our table was ready, and we had 5 minutes to return before they gave up the table. How do you go from a 1.5 hour wait to 10 freaking minutes? We had to slam back our drinks and sprint back to the other bar to get there in time. Luckily, we made it in time, but how does a host that works there every day not have a true sense of wait times? If you're going to give a wait time of over an hour, then it better be actually over an hour to allow people time to do something peacefully while they wait. Sincerely, chug, chug, chug. What do we think, Emma Willmann?
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like my thoughts on, whenever I think of, so this is going to seem like a big jump, but I'm going to tie it together. I always think of like age with dating. I go, for me, it's like once someone's over 26, then whatever the age difference is, if you're 26 and your partner's 60, whatever. But once the person clears the 26 range, then I don't even think then after that, it's like a case by case, 22 and 40. I'm like, okay, but case by case. But
right.
But for me, it's where it connects with this is it'll be like once you say the wait's going to be over, I'd say it would be over 20 minutes, it's definitely over half an hour. Then you need to be pretty accurate. Like it is,
right.
You can't go an hour to then 10 minutes. That's completely unfair. If they had said it's going to be 20 minutes, then it's 10, sure, fine. But once you say something's going to be over 45 minutes, you have to expect the people are then you're getting a different category because you got to expect that people are going to go somewhere because no one's going to sit there for an hour with 4 people.
I totally agree. The minute you say to someone, you couldn't be more right because the minute you say to someone, because you even say it differently. Like even the hostess or host will go 10, 15 minutes.
Yes.
That tone is like, stick around, kid.
Yes.
Like that, 10, 15 minutes, and then they do the thing with the hand, as if you're watching on YouTube, 10, 15 minutes, you squint your eyes, 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. When it's over an hour, they go, it's going to be about an hour.
Yeah.
And they eyes widen, it's going to be an hour. And you
almost as if to say, what are you going to do to fill the time? It's going to be an hour. Can you hang in? Cut out for this?
Can you figure out a day around our hour? And
how bad do you want it?
Right. And the minute the tone changes and the eyes change, you have told me, okay, let me make a decision. Mm-hmm. And these people were good citizens. They saw open tables. They didn't say, what the fuck, you better sit us down. I see an open table there. They said, okay, you got your rules. I'm going to play by your rules. I'm going to go across the street. I got the text message, and the text message does make us feel good. When they take my number and they go, we'll text you, I feel like I am now free to roam this earth. I feel safe. I feel taken care of. And
Yes.
what this restaurant has done is they've deceived you. They've taken your trust and they've screwed you over because now and my dad says this to me all the time. He's like, the only one that can screw you are the people that you trust.
Ooh, that's so true.
It's very true because you give yourself to them. You make yourself vulnerable to people you trust. And then the people you don't trust, you go, we'll see. I'll protect myself. No, when you trust someone, you take off the armor. You let them in. This restaurant was let in. This restaurant was allowed. You said, oh, they gave me the number. It's an hour. I trust them. It's a high-end cocktail bar. And then they fucked you.
They should, and giving you only 5 minutes to get back there too is
Right.
rude. It's like you're crossing the street with the green light and it just changed to red light when it was in an oddly short amount of time. It's like
Right.
it should take 10 seconds. They changed it after 3, and now you're in the middle of a highway. You're gonna get hit by a car.
Where was
5
the
minutes
yellow
is too
light?
short. Where was
Right.
the yellow light?
Where was
the
it?
yellow light?
And
That you're saying as you get hit by the car.
And here's the thing. The problem with technology is it takes away the humanization of a lot of things. Like being a good host is at a popular place like this one is supposedly is you have to be good at that job. You got to be a people pleaser. You got to be
Totally.
a salesperson. I was at a bar. So my parents were here and my aunt and uncle were here last weekend. And
Nice.
we went to a restaurant and then I was like, let's go try a bar. I'm taking a real chance. I'm walking with 4 people in their 60s in New York, 2 of them in heels, to a bar with no reservation.
You are, woof.
I'm on the trapeze with no net underneath. I am, and we go up to this bar and we went to, should we go to Plug City? What was it called? Temple Bar. Okay. And I've heard of Temple. I'm taking a real chance.
What night was it? Was it a busy night?
So it was a Saturday night, or it was Friday night.
It's a busy night. So
It's a busy night. We had just gotten a great dinner at Emilio's Bellato, which I would suggest to everyone. Anthony Vitolo is the chef. He followed me on Instagram. I took a shot. I messaged him. I go, hey, man, I got my parents in town. Can I get a table on Friday night at 7? He goes, got you. So he hooked
Love
it.
it. Love it.
So we just had this great New York night at an Italian place. So I'm kind of feeling myself. I'm like, let's take another shot. So we go walk to this Temple Bar. There's a guy outside and he goes, how many? And he goes, I got 5 of us. And he goes, we take reservations for 4 or more. And he goes, but there might be, let me go check. And it's like, he goes in and he comes out and he goes, we got standing room. And I looked at him like, dude, don't even offer me that. Like, I'm sitting here with 4 older Jews. You think we're just going to be standing and milling around your bar? What do you think is going to happen here? Like, you read the room, buddy.
Well. Right. Just tell them to go away.
Just say go away. Don't even give me the option.
Yeah, say you don't like Jewish people here. Just say it.
Right.
Just say it.
Right. Just say no Jews allowed. Because at this point I go, dude, when he said standing room only, I looked and I was like, really? Really? And then my mom's behind me. What does he say? Can we get in? I'm like, no, they hate Jews. We're walking out of here.
We're getting out of here.
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Emma Willmann. Go. Follow immediately. Luxury Lounge. False Promises Landlord Edition. Jared and esteemed guests, your podcasts have gotten me through many hours of lab work. I'm a PhD student. Whoa.
Good for you.
That's right.
Love to hear it.
I hope you enjoyed that farting conversation. To my current frustration. I'm writing this from under a mountain of laundry. I put off doing my laundry down to the very last sets of socially acceptable clothes. I go to the laundry room in my apartment building, and there's a note saying the laundry room is closed for maintenance. I was immediately enraged. I pay for water and access to the communal washer and fresher every month. I don't know what a fresher is, and have to clean.
I don't know what a fresher is either.
There might be from out of the country.
Are
And
we
to
gross?
have
Is something we should have been doing our whole lives?
What's a fresher? Oh,
What's a fresher?
I haven't been using the fresher. And to have clean underwear, I'll not have to spend at least $20. Even worse, I'll have to drag an embarrassing amount of laundry in front of the public. Maybe it's a petty amount of money to be frustrated over, but if the landlord can't provide as promised, shouldn't we be able to expense the costs we incur? A frustrated tenant with a large laundry pile. What do you think?
I feel like it's a British thing too. A fresher's a British thing, but I'm very curious. So please let us know what it is.
Right.
In the sentences after.
Well, it's the dryer. I bet you that it's a
dryer.
They said to the communal washer and fresher. Also, I pay for water and access to the communal washer and fresher every month. I can't believe that you have to pay if it's in your building and have to.
Like it's like a HOA fee type thing. I mean, this is maybe tricky since so take it with a grain of salt for context that I've lived in New York for a while, so I'm used to kind of the landlord stuff here. I don't know. I maybe would look at it differently if I hadn't been, in New York, where it's like
you're used to abiding by the the schedule of a random person who lives in the basement of your building. I understand that. Yes,
I lived in a building once where they didn't have a stove for like 3 months, and we had to call the local news to do a story on it, and then they gave us a stove. We called 7 on your side. It was when I first moved to New York, so we like, we don't know what else to do. But I would say this: if it's closed for more than, I'd say when it comes to getting the money back, I'd say if it's closed for more than, I'm going to say 4 or 5 days, then you could say, could I get this prorated for my rent? If it's only closed for like a day or two, then I'm really sorry. It might be one of those situations, and I've been there a billion times, where it's like, it's just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Emma,
I hate to say it, but
no, but here's the thing. If they're doing maintenance, you do maintenance in waves. Don't do the whole room at once. You're doing all the washers and freshers.
Okay, this is a good point. This is true.
At the same time. Right. No. It's like a comedy club. When they give out the checks, they give it out in waves. They give out this section first. They don't give out all the checks at the same time because it would crush the room. You give out, you do one at a time. You go, this section's closed off. The idea that you go down there. Listen, if this person went down there and they go, half the room is in maintenance, half the room is being used, you would go, okay, at least that was thought of. I gotta wait. At least they didn't, to have a note on the door.
What if it's only for a day? What if it's where it's closed?
No, you can't take away a whole day for people, because from work from home, people's work schedules, when you go to do laundry, you're going to do laundry. You should expect that all people doing laundry are doing it with their last piece of underwear on their body. So let's live in that world. Let's live in a world. Don't live in a world where the laundry room is being used whenever I want.
Right.
No. If I have to use, if I live in a world where I have to use a communal washing room,
you're going in there.
Right.
When it's the end
Life
of the day.
isn't great. I don't have time. Right. I don't have the money. I don't have there's no nanny. There's just me. I'm a single parent. Okay.
Right. I got my kids. They peed all their clothes now. They got nothing to wear to school. We're getting kicked out of school. Yes.
Right.
Totally.
We can't live in a world where life is better than the worst life that actually uses these things.
This is a good point. This changed my. I agree with you. You're right. They should. If it's a communal laundry room, they can't have it closed. They shouldn't have it. They could stay under maintenance in part of it or something. Right. They should not have the whole thing closed down.
My mom has all the time in the world. If you said to her, the washing room's closed for a week, she'd go, I'll be back after Hawaii. She's in a different boat.
Right.
If I'm in a position, as I am right now, where there's a communal washing room downstairs, when I go to do laundry, it is because I have that moment to do laundry.
Right. This is
JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. We'll do one more. Is that okay, Emma?
Let's do it, please. Absolutely.
Let's do one more. Everyone, go follow Emma at Emma Willmann. So funny. I love seeing Emma.
Likewise.
Okay, I'll give you the choice based on titles. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Infant the Movies, Wanna Be Helping Neighbors, Ireland Vacation.
Ooh. I'm going to go with those are Wanna Be Helpful Neighbors.
Okay. Dear Jared and esteemed guest, Feather, my complaint is about wanna be helpful neighbors. I live in a suburb of Seattle. I have a small yard. My neighbors across the street are always offering to either do my landscaping or offer to loan me tools. The problem is I've seen the work they've done, and it's horrible. They've butchered trees and everything else I've seen looks half-assed. I'm not great at it, but why pay someone to do an even worse job than I can do myself? I mean, makes zero sense. Well, pay them.
Pay them. No, so they're not offering.
No,
they're trying to get their services out there.
Right. They're starting a business, and now they've insisted on me borrowing their tools. Problem is their tools don't work. I was unloading some brushes from my truck, and he came. You have a truck, and they're offering you. If you have a truck,
Yeah,
if I saw someone with a truck, I would be like, yeah, they're better at this than me.
100%. Totally.
Right.
I go, nice truck. And then I put a cork in it.
Right. He came over to help, she puts in, or they put in quote, I don't know. But by offering me to borrow his auger tool to dig holes. Look at, they know that I don't know this shit. They had to. I told him I was going to borrow my dad's. Dad doesn't have one, just trying to end this conversation. And he insists I borrow his because it's right there across the street. After some back and forth, I cave. I borrow his and it won't start. So now I have to return this piece of shit, tell him it won't start. And all I came all I came thinking is he's going to blame me for not starting. Was this all a ploy to get me to buy him a new tool? Now I have anxiety through the goddamn roof to return his tool. I want to go back to the cordial wave with neighbors. Thank you for creating the safe space to vent. Sincerely, guy who hates seeing his neighbors. What do you think, Emma Willmann?
Honestly, I think this is almost like these people sound scary and they're into some weird shit. I think you need to
it's annoying.
Don't interact with these neighbors at all costs. Like whatever you can do, try not to even make just hi bye. Like truly protect yourself. I watch a lot of true crime. They sound like real weirdos to me.
Yeah, neighbors with a lot of tools and a little too nice. That's very murder mystery to me.
Very murder mystery. Pushing the tools don't work. That's what, to me. It seems like they're trying to get you in their garage or something. I don't trust them.
You're in the Pacific Northwest. There's a lot of fog. It's hazy.
Yeah.
It's Goonies. Yeah, no, I don't like any of this. It's all scary to me.
One bit.
I would also say that this is. How about this? If I say no, thank you, we're done. Stop offering.
Done. Yep.
Stop. No, I insist. No. I thought about what you said. I'm an adult. I've decided no, thank you. We're done here. This
Especially
whole idea of
tools. That's like a whole thing. It's not like a cookie. It's not like, not take a cookie. Okay, I'll take a pie. A tool.
Right.
Like a tool is like, a tool is like a big, you got to return it. It's expensive. There's the liability of if it doesn't work, then you feel responsible for it. Like a tool is a big one.
Right. And it's just, a tool's a big one. And it's like, you're sitting there at the door, you first. And they're going, no, you first. And you go, I insist, you first. And it's like, how long are we going to sit here at this fucking door? Someone walk through the fucking door. Okay. Now I'm the dick. Do you feel better now? Like you feel better about yourself? Like I just, this too nice person, like just be nice if you have to, not because you want to. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Emma, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Are you in the city a bunch coming up? Or are you on the road?
I'm in the city. I'm on the road. I'm in the city. Hold on, I'll read my dates to people. I forgot to do that. I got if you're listening now, I am gonna be in Boston and New York and DC for the U Up Live, Kansas City, Missouri, Nashville, Tennessee, Stamford, Connecticut, Raleigh, Lexington, Charlotte, JaredFreid.com. Everyone go follow Emma. Emma's fantastic. At Emma Willmann. I'm Jared Freid. We'll be back next week. Boom.